You can see we've cut the first panel out of the door here. And you saw what I was doing. I would go all the way around it and then drop the bit down a little more, go all the way around. I did it about 3 times, even though or 4 times, excuse me, even though you didn't see every time around. But drop it down a little bit each time. You can drop it down all at once if you like. That's fine. You can do that. You know, if it's a brand new bit, it'll cut it without any problem at all. Anyway, we got our first one cut, and as you saw that when we got all the way through it, this piece didn't drop down because the whole door is flat, and in this case we've got it sitting on sheetrock, so these panels don't fall through, causing our router to tip at an angle. So that's the most important thing. Well, safety is the most important thing, but this is one of the important things about keeping everything the same height. And this has to go with anything you do with router work or anything else you do. You want to make sure that you got enough support so that you don't have a problem later on when you're finishing up. Okay, now we'll cut the next one out. Okay, you can see this is a cove and bead style, and this is the style of molding they used to use on those 1 and 2 panel doors. And you can buy a router bit that does this type of detail, or if you want to get something close, they sell some stuff that's called glass bead. It's real close to this, and you can use it if you don't want to have to use your router, but just you can look in your toolbook catalog or whatever. Classical bits are real common, and it's usually like a 1/4 inch or 3/16 is what you're looking for. You can go smaller. They have 1/8. That was the style they had back then, was a 1/8 inch classical bit style. You can get that one. That would pretty much be an exact match. But in any case, what we're going to do now, we've run some, and we're going to cut it. And as you can see, the panel is going to go in here, and there's no sense me going through table saw techniques on how to cut this piece of plywood, because if you've ordered one of these tapes, it's because you know how to run a table saw. Anyway, this is 1/4 inch. You can use 3/8 and you can use 1/2 inch. The thicker the panel, the smaller the molding that you can put around it. So like this is a 1/4 inch, we're using a 1/4 inch. This is really the glass bead, which is a 1/4 inch router bit style. Because we're matching an existing door that evidently someone made years and years ago. They did the same thing. Of course, they didn't do it out of a solid core door. They built just a regular door and then just put in. I guess they didn't have routers back then because it looked like a table saw cut it out. But anyway, this is what they used before, so this is what we're going back with. We got our panel cut. Okay, we've got our panel cut. Now we put in the first layer of our glass bead or classical molding. And as you can see, you put the first piece in, and it's approximately 1/16 of an inch fillet, but 1/16 to 1/8 from the top of your molding to the very top of your door. You want that because that way you can run a bead of caulking right down through here, and it gives it a little bit more strength. You definitely want to glue this on. Panel glue is good. Your carpenter's wood glue is good, either one. Okay, you put this in all the way around, and then make sure as you go along, you want to try to keep it as close as you can, all the way around the perimeter of the door. You can see right here where this has come to a 90 degrees. And okay, now we've got the first piece on the bottom, on the top side, bottom side or top side, either way. Now we're going to put our panel in. Okay, got our panel in. Now, we're going to put the molding on the inside now. Okay, now this is something you need to do. You don't want to glue this in just yet. You want to cut all your molding first. Then you want to get some panel glue and glue this panel in. You want as much security as this is possible. Okay, now we've got our molding cut. This will be our molding. Got the panel in place. The first thing you want to do is run a bead of panel glue in between the plywood and the door itself. And then you want it even enough so that when you don't want to make too big a mess. You just want to be just enough so that when you set your molding in and you nail it in place, that it's glued real well. So you put your pieces in. Got those two in. This one and the long one. Come up here to the top. Take your top piece. Put it in. Then we have the other side. One panel doors are a lot easier to do than two panel doors. Okay, and then we got this in. Nail these in, just like you would any other kind of molding, and you're done.